Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We started with 20 teams, and now we're down to 2. Welcome to the SaskTel Curling Stadium, Martensville SaskTour Spiel. We're here for the finals between Aaron Shutra and Kelly Knapp. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Shawn, Joyce, Ryan Jacques on the production. Shawn, how you doing? And looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm holding up okay. I only had to do this at the third game all weekend, although I was on the road for a bit, so a little tired. It is interesting as I watch this, something I haven't talked about yet, and I don't know whether the viewers everywhere are aware. The ones in Saskatchewan certainly will be. I've done the Saskatchewan Tankard here since 2012. One of the ways they can qualify for provincials is through tour points. So there's a couple of spots available. I think it's 3 this year for CTRS points gained in anything, which includes the WCT events. But there are 3 spots available into the Tankard, the provincial championship, for just the top 3 teams on the SaskTour alone. And this is the first SaskTour event, I believe, for the men's this year. And so an opportunity to pick up some big points early on in the season for one of these 2 teams. Kelly Knapp has qualified for the Tankard twice now through the SaskTour points, and actually won provincials, went to the Brier 2 years ago.
And it is Kelly Knapp. They're throwing the red stones.
Yep.
Aaron Shutra has the blue and with the hammer here in the first end. Stephen McDonald looking to make a play on this stone in the 12-foot.
Justin Heather with his brush down, Trevor Woyden on the other side.
Does slide on by. So, Shawn, tell me about the playing styles of these 2 teams.
Well, the Shutra team, and we just saw them, they certainly prefer the draw team. They're not traditionally a Tankard level team. They have played in the Tankard as a team together. Aaron played with a different team last year in the Tankard. This is a club championship level team. They have won the provincial title here and gone to nationals at what would have been called the Travelers at the time. And I think it's Everest that sponsors that event nationally now. I know it is. They just did the brand new event, the North American one. The Knapp team plays a little bit more like a traditional men's team. That certainly all 8 players out here can throw the weight to throw the big hits. Kelly himself, prior to skipping, he was a career lead. So very comfortable with the draws. That miss on the hit, the last one, it was interesting. Now, Stephen, he had a rough game in the semifinal as well. But to watch that rock curl as far as it did, like in the semifinal, we didn't see anything that moved like that.
Makes you wonder if maybe they just clipped just a little bit more pebble off.
Maybe like this particular sheet wouldn't have been used in the last draw.
So taking off the guard here. Might be able to get the double peel.
Might get all 3 of them? Nope.
Just does get 2 of them moving. Groups them a little bit closer. The center guard is going to go right up now. And that throw is going to come from Mark Armstrong. That's going to come up and not quite get all the way to the center line.
And I'm trying to sneak a peek as this is going on. This is the first chance I've had to see the Knapp team this weekend. And one thing I'm pretty sure of already, that is not Trent out there. But I'm trying to figure out who the sub is. I think it might be Dustin Kidby. He's played with them a fair bit in the past.
If it's the same gentleman who's subbed before, and I'm going through my notes.
Just rubbed the guard on the way by. I'm trying to remember what this last year. I've seen these guys so much over the last few years. It's just trying to remember where. But I think last year, whenever they needed a sub, I think Dustin was subbing for them then, and he would play whatever position. He skipped an event for them, and he's traditionally just not skipped a lot. But it's nice when you can have a sub that will step in and play whatever position is missing, because then the other three guys are in their normal spot. You don't have to change a whole lot. So that's Dustin on the left with his just directing traffic right now.
We'll try to get confirmation on the lineup.
Mike Armstrong was the brusher there, and we're on to third stones now. It's Brennan Jones throwing.
Gonna make the double peel, roll over for a guard. Center guard's gonna come back up again. This one on the way from Jones. Probably a little tighter than they wanted, right?
Yeah, and close enough that you might be able to get all three of them here.
So bringing the heat, we're going to get 1 and 2 and 3 of them moving. Kicks the other one out the side.
Does leave it in the 8 foot though, so the force is still in play. It does probably take the steal out of the equation. I'm racking my brains trying to be sure. Here's the issue with the Kidbys, that there's 2 of them, Dustin and DJ. And they have a very similar look, especially on a small grainy screen. And they both live in Regina, so it could just as easily be either one of them, but I think it's Dustin.
Well, we have our crack research team working on that back in the mothership. This is going to come right up to the nose and still hang on to a bit of the house, very importantly. So Shutra is going to take on the shot rock and roll behind there.
Still a chance for his deuce. Now, the other side of this, if he rolls behind and say he's half buried, if Kelly plays the run back and sticks it, it'd be very hard to stay behind cover, and his shooter won't be in the rings if he has to play the run back. So the blank is still a possibility here.
First stone for Aaron Shutra in this final. This one's hanging out just a bit.
Yeah, he's not rolling behind.
It's going to hit and stay right there.
Kelly and Brennan talked about both options, and I'm not sure what they decided on. You nose hit this, and it's a relatively simple shot for one, but any attempt at the double, it'd be really tough to go after the blank. If you roll dead in behind the red, Aaron might have a chance. There's not going to be a ton of room between them. He might have a chance to play the double and try to roll out for the blank, and versus drawing against two, he might decide to do that. Now, if he jams it, you still get a steal, so you might still play that roll behind. They talked about it. I just haven't heard. I didn't see them indicate which one they were playing at the end. That might have been a discussion that they had at the hack, and that the tap of the ice you saw from Kidby might be what they've decided from this end is we're going to try to hit on the nose and stay out on the corner.
It is certainly going to stay pretty much right there. So what do you think of the angle for the double there?
It's a tough double to roll out. And if you're playing for one, this is the easier way to do it. Just hit it on the nose. But versus drawing against two in the first end, and that's why the discussion was had. If you roll in behind, so you take that red rock, if he hits and rolls, so he'd be top 8 foot. If you're in behind your own in the top 12 foot, it's awfully risky in the first end, probably more risk than a lot of teams would want to take on to draw against two in the first end. He likely plays the hit on the top one. If he misses the double, you get the steal. But I think the discussion was we don't want to give him the chance to get out with a blank. Let's make him take his one.
And Aaron Shutra trying to do just that right now with his final stone. And that he does. They take a single point, and the early lead, we come back right after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Back here at number 2 in Martensville. It's the championship final of the SaskTel Curling Stadium SaskTour Spiel in Martensville. Dave Schmel with Shawn, Joyce. It was a single point for Shutra in the first end. Knapp has a hammer here in the second. Throwing red.
Well, and we're seeing some extra curl here in this final. Whether they nipped a little extra, I'm not sure what happened, but this could be the kind of thing where a team's going to have to catch on to this. We see the center guard is a little off the line. That come around attempt, granted, it's a little bit deep, but it's half a rock out in the open on the other side, and they certainly appear to be moving more coming into the house than what we saw this afternoon in the semifinal, and more than what I saw this morning in the quarterfinal on this same sheet of ice.
It didn't come up quite as much as they would have liked, I would think.
Well, probably a little more weight than they had in mind, too. Like, that's, if he doesn't touch it, that's probably back 12.
So Knapp looking for, about top 4, I would think.
Yeah, ideally. And I think I heard back 4, which is not what they wanted. And if you're top 4 on this, you don't even have to dead bury, because if you leave half sticking out, it's on the side where it would jam onto the blue. But Brusher's not even bending at the waist here.
It comes back to their own, but definitely leaves something to weld on to for Aaron Shutra. So, Trevor Woyden.
We get spoiled when there's only one game out there. We can actually hear them a little bit.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
They're probably not loving it right now, because every time they say anything, it's got something to do with he's a little heavy. As the thrower, you hate it when that's what they pick up on the mic.
Yep. Or they'll don't want to touch it.
Could be worse. They could be yelling out something like, watch your feet. And on a draw, that's never a good sign.
Your top 8 called. That's better. Looks like they might have cooked this one a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing somebody calling straight, and the sweepers don't want to touch it because it's deep.
So we have all these stones behind the tee line. Not where you want to be if you have hammer.
No, not where you want to be if you've got hammer, but there's a few too many red stones in there for Aaron Shutra's liking when he doesn't have hammer. Can't really do anything about them other than try to get a good angle in front of them.
Working hard to hold this line. It's going to get past the guard. Does it curl up too much, and does it have the legs?
You know, it's not horrible there. It's certainly over curled, but at least it's in front of the tee line. So that's a rock that he can see it around the other side of the guard. He could always promote it onto shot rock.
See here, Kelly saying he just wants to come right on down to shot rack.
Yeah, almost has to. Now, if you leave a little bit of room, there is that angle on the blue onto the red. So if he can get right to the face of the red stone, he can actually take away the path to tap that blue in.
They're bumping.
Yeah, bumping is not what you wanted to hear.
Yeah. And thanks to Jerry Beck at our home studios, that's Dustin Kidby in for Trent Knapp. He's their normal fifth.
Yeah. So looking to play enough weight to move this. The second redstone isn't going to go very far. It's jamming onto something, but you got to get the top one to spill out if there's going to be any room to score some points here, and this has got to curl.
It's going to catch it and shimmy around the deck a little bit. So the full button's available now. So you think you just put a third one in, or do you make a play on the blue?
That blue one's still in a problem spot for Kelly Knapp.
But what do you do about it?
Well, that's the question. Like, if you knew you could get to the inside of it with the out turn, you might be able to do something to just tap it like what he's indicating. It's just so hard. We've seen some curl on the in turn coming in. We haven't seen the couple of attempts they made, or one attempt that they made in the out turn didn't curl as hard.
So here I mentioned back 4 foot weight.
That's usually what the sweepers say after you let go this end, and it's not what they've been looking for. You got to be careful throwing this much weight out of your hand. It's got to get to the blue if you have that much weight.
So they're looking to throw a normal draw to the button weight and sweep it on into where they want it.
Yeah, assuming that it curls. I mean, if it doesn't curl, you're not sweeping this one, and you'll just corner freeze your own. Isn't the end of the world. The end of the world here is actually if you come deep, chip off your own, and leave a pocket right behind the button. Yeah, he was hoping to be tight by this guard. He's going to have a lot of room.
Now, we've seen some finish late in our semifinal game.
Yeah, it's trying. Chiseled off it, but sure didn't move it very far.
Now, how long do you save that bluestone that's hanging on the top 4? The whole end, just to leave it there as a threat?
Yeah, you might have to. It's the angle's good to push it onto the red. The problem is there's another red behind it, so you're not moving that redstone very far. I don't know that you could get shot rock off of it right now.
Well, right now I think they're looking to release that. Come hard past this one. Got to get past the guard. You got to stay at least nose. Ooh, we're going to come in contact with the guard, and that changes the outlook. So now they can address that blue stone.
Yeah, they can. How hard? That's the question. Because it's hard to get it out, right? I mean, if you could play some weight, try to pick the blue one, have your shooter come into the one at the top of the button, you'd lose it, and then you could kind of leave the reds 3 in a row. I don't know if that's better.
I think they're talking about hitting the pile really hard.
You could hit the blue fairly hard, close to the nose. That's what he's looking at. It's going to catch the red behind it. The red onto red drags a bit and might catch that third blue, and then the blue, the first one you hit off the red, should touch the top end of the other blue. You move a lot of rocks. I don't know how many blue ones leave.
Yeah, I don't ever see that blue right behind the tee line leaving on this shot.
Not with this weight, no. No, they're just playing to jam it into that one. But it's safer because you're not going to break up all the red ones. Like right now, it's hard for Aaron Shutra to get boy, right now it's hard for him to get more than one red out of the 4-foot. And you'd hate to leave him a path where he could maybe double or triple those ones out and leave you looking at a force. Right now, if Aaron Shutra threw any weight in there, he's probably killing 2 blues and 1 red.
Now trying to bring it over for some curl. Moves that blue just a little bit, comes up to theirs.
Yeah, might have liked to move it a little farther. Aaron looking at coming off of it. So we play blue onto blue. The back blue will go into those reds at the back of the 8-foot somewhere and have the shooter come across and move at least one of the reds in the top of the 4-foot. And it might be just one like that. Where he's making contact with the first blue, it's really hard to get to the back end of that first red to get to the second one. Mind you, you'd leave your shooter in a pretty good spot. I need a telestrator, Jerry. There's too many angles to just talk about them here and be able to make sure everybody knows which rocks I'm talking about. Like, he's going to throw some weight here. It's entirely possible if he makes it, only 2 of them leave the rings, but he's going to jiggle some others around.
All we want for Christmas is a telestrator.
Yeah, he's not going to be light on this one. And he really can't afford to be, because even for his next one, he needs, like right now, to throw weight directly at any of the reds. They don't leave because there's too many rocks for them to jam on. So he's got to come off his own stone to try to kill anything red.
Aaron Shutra coming down at this with some weight. Working hard. You got to try to hold the line.
Yeah, he wanted to hit the blue one first. He's not going to.
Just remove the one.
It might have worked out.
Yeah, the shooter does roll dead, frozen almost, and they sit second, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm cheating while they're discussing this. I'm looking at the YouTube feed to see. I think he might have touched the redstone first, and he did, but only just barely touched it, so it hardly moved. And that actually meant that when he came into his own stone, he came dead into it. Only actually killed 1 stone with that weight, but left himself in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that blue's in a very nice spot now.
I don't think you can make a direct play onto the blue, so what they're looking at playing is hit the red at the top of the 4-foot, slash it into the side of that blue, kick it off the 2 red stones. That red stone that you're going to make contact with first is going to hit the side of the blue, and then it probably comes back and may take the blue out of the back of the 4-foot. If you hit this right, 2 blues might leave. The shooter is probably gone. But then it leaves that 1 blue at the edge of the 4-foot looking pretty lonely with 4 or 5 reds still sitting in the middle of the house somewhere. Aaron Shutra will have to be real careful with his last one.
Here comes Kelly Knapp, bringing the heat. Whoa, right off his hand.
Yeah, he needs to hit this on the outside, but not that thin.
It's going to get a little something. It does chisel it out the side. Leaves them sitting 3 at the moment.
Dead sideways. Doesn't actually come back, take anything out. It's not a bad leave.
Let's take another look at that.
By hitting it as thin as he did, he leaves the red stone up in front of the button still. Sitting 3, and still hard for Aaron to get rid of more than 1 red without killing 2 blue. And if you kill 2 blue now, you're giving up a lot this end.
So would it ever be a good shot? Could he ever get to the face of the one sitting number 2 right now? That's just mostly behind the tee line.
Oh boy, that's a good question. It doesn't look like he can see quite all of it. So, I mean, you could do it with just draw weight, but then that leaves the same squeeze type shot for Kelly with his last one. You really have to be.
If you made that, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you roll off it at all. The scary thing has to be that because with all those rocks being that close together, could you ever leave a triple on the blues? And, certainly if you do it wrong, there's got to be a way to leave a triple. So that's what he's got to be careful not to do here. If you could weld it right on the face, I don't see it ever leaving a triple if you weld it right on the face. If you leave any separation, that's a whole different story.
It looks like that is what he's going to try.
Yeah. Well, to the point that you made with asking about that might be the only shot he's got left. Like what does he hit? He can't hit anything without potentially killing both blues.
Yeah, you'd have to hit it really, really perfect. I was thinking maybe with hack weight and just kind of jiggle it a little bit and maybe leave yourself in a good spot. But
real tough not to leave the triple. If you roll off the face at all, I think you leave the triple, knowing that it'll be blue onto red onto the blue at the back, and then it'll come across and spill the other blue. You could easily leave that playing this draw too if you chisel off the top.
This has got to go hard to get past. You can't chisel that top guy. You chisel the top guy, it's not good.
Now where does it end up?
That what goes a long way off to the side. And what did that leave Kelly?
Well, he's already sitting 3. I think you just draw for 4.
That's a pretty good outcome.
Well, I'm looking at. Took a look at it too. Is there a way to triple the blues? Because then it's for 5 or maybe more. But to me, the easiest way to move all 3 blues, you hit those 2 blues on the left-hand side. If you look from the overhead, hit them right at the same time. The blue biting the forefoot comes into the red, kicks across, kills the other blue. But I don't see that first blue leaving. I think it's going to stay. Probably jams on the red. Yeah, jams on the red at the back. So that's still only for 4. Well, if you're throwing for 4 anyway, you're already sitting 3. You can just draw for 4.
So no Kelly Knapp, Kelly Knapp is going to have a draw to the forefoot with backing to score a bundle here and open this game up and take a nice lead to start here. Final rocket number 2.
Rushers took a quick peek at the stopwatch, and then they both jumped on it, but they've backed away now.
They got the backing. On the backing, just keep it there. Bring it in, boys. And that's going to be no problem. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 reds. 4-1 after 2. Big score for Kelly Knapp. We'll be back.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Even worse, let's put it that way.
Back here in end number 3. It's a 4-1 lead for Kelly Knapp over Aaron Shutra here in Martensville. So we were talking some about the last end there, and it was just really tough to come up with a good shot for Aaron Shutra to get out of dodge there.
No matter what he did with the last one, he didn't have a lot of room for error. The angles weren't good for him in the house to play anything with weight because red rocks were jamming into blue ones if he threw anything with any kind of weight. And with the draw he was playing, well, you saw it. Like, he had no room for error. If he chiseled off at all, he's fortunate in a way that it only turned out to be 4, because if he leaves any way to triple out those blues, and there were all kinds of angles already that favored Kelly Knapp, if he leaves a way to triple out the blues, it could have been way worse. It could have been 5. It could have been 6. So it's funny. You gave up 4 and maybe you dodged a bullet. You're 3 down. You've got last rock, but it could have been worse.
Well, so I guess we can settle that we didn't dodge it, but we just kind of got grazed.
Yeah, he didn't have any angles that really favored him. Like, to make the freeze that he was looking at, it was still 2 and a shot for 3 if he makes it. If he absolutely welds it on perfect, it's still a shot for 3. It's 2 guaranteed and a shot for 3.
So now we have the double corner guard. It looks like that they wanted McDonald to bring that in significantly deeper from the initial thing. McDonald had some trouble with weight the last game too.
Yeah, I didn't actually see whether they were playing the second corner guard. Wouldn't be surprised if they played the second, but you'd like a little more separation than that.
Yeah, the call was definitely to come in with it. So now we have a center up and some congestion. So what's the mindset here?
Well, this is the script that we talk about so much that teams will start these ends with. You can't do a lot with the guards early because of the 5 rock free guard zone. So Kelly Knapp throw the first two into the center of the rings, knowing that Aaron Shutra has to do something with them eventually. Aaron plays to the corner twice. And again, I wouldn't have minded if the call had been for the second center. Now they're going to start trying to address the rocks in the middle. And, they look disappointed on that. That's still not a bad result for them. They moved the center guard over a little bit. They got another rock into the rings. So it's hard for Kelly Knapp to do anything with the corners. I don't think Aaron Shutra's in a bad spot here in this end. The 2 blue stones, if they tried to play a double peeler, kind of angled to go towards the 2 in the middle. So I don't think they can do that. This actually is not a bad spot for the Shutra team right now. He needs to generate offense, and he's going to have some rocks to work with.
Yeah, those rocks are they're not high in the house, so they're definitely, you can start playing some taps and have some jams. And
yeah, you'll have to move them around, but I mean, when the rocks are that close together, you've got the chances to do that. He's got 2 ways to come at it here. He can try to get to the inside, tap the reds, put one behind the tee line, get his shooter under cover, or if he's right on the nose, when he taps the 2 reds, they'll kind of split. You could end up with 2 rocks behind the tee line.
So Trevor Woyden with his second.
Could do a broomside tap on the higher one too. Push it behind the corners, well behind the corners, behind the tee line. Roll the shooter like this. Doesn't even matter if that one goes out. It's in a spot where you could jam on it later. You could freeze to it through the port. Kelly Knapp is sitting shot rock right now in the 4-foot, but the house right now is pretty good for Aaron Shutra to try to generate some points. Brennan Jones actually being asked to make the play on the red onto the blue and roll towards the middle. Which, if he makes it, is going to put another red rock near the tee line.
That one really jumped on him.
Yeah, he might have been a little thin. He could put all the red rocks near or behind the tee line.
Ooh. Lots of things to work with now.
Yeah. And that one that rolled across, second shot, but it's in the port.
Right.
Kelly Knapp is sitting 4 in it, but if you're honest, the house is actually sitting pretty good for Aaron Shutra right now.
So initially thinking of just what might be a lot of people's gut shot is just to come right underneath the center.
Yeah, and well, no, he was looking at playing it as a hit and roll, but I don't love hitting that one yet, because if you can deal with the 2 rocks on the other side of the sheet, you actually have a choice with that one. It's sitting in the middle of a port. You could roll behind either set of guards, and you might like to be able to roll behind the corners, but you still got to deal with the 2 on the other side. I like this play. Make some kind of play on those 2 first. He's never going to guard that hit on the port. He's got to deal with the rock on the open side.
And you throw this enough weight, you might get lucky and come across the top.
You might.
So looking to get the double, it's going to be on the outside, though, and just nose it, roll off a little bit. That's not the way you want it to miss it.
No, you need it to roll towards the center somehow or another. It is, I think, third shot.
I would concur with your analysis.
And even though it's flat, those 2 reds in the 4-foot are close enough together that there might be a way to get a double off them. So it's tough to ignore that blue stone now.
So they're going to take it on and throw normal at it, looking for the big roll.
Yeah, and what he meant by that is they have to throw normal. If you throw quieter, which is maybe a little easier to control the roll, then the roll comes in a little bit steeper, and you're more likely to move that stone on the edge of the 4-foot. They want to roll flat, roll in front of it.
You got the hit now. Here comes the roll. Working on over. They do kiss their own.
Yeah, got the shooter to a really good spot, but did push their own stone behind the tee line. That's not ideal. The shooter ends up in a great spot. That's the one that helps them.
So here we see it again.
Yeah, when they talked about it wanting to throw the bigger weight, they wanted to hit this first stone a little bit thicker, and then they don't touch their own stone. They could have just rolled into the top button area. They would have been a little tighter to the tee line on the roll, but they wouldn't have pushed that stone behind the tee.
So you see them there looking at that double of the other 2 reds there at the tee line and behind the 4.
Yeah, it would almost be a triple too. If you make the double, you're awful close to catching that one at the back of the 12-foot. You might even dead jam it, but
so Jason Heather looking to set up his team for a good score here. Get the 1 over to the second. You kick it out. You clear it. Do leave yourself pretty well exposed.
yeah, he actually might have hit that first one a little thick because he came across to the top of the second one. His shooter kicked up into the open and didn't get either of the other 2 reds out. If he hits that first one a little thinner, he comes more into the side of that second red one. He doesn't spin up. And, when he's thinner on the first one, he carries more weight through, probably kicks the second one out the side. Maybe doesn't jam the back one quite as solidly either. It's unfortunate for Aaron because it leaves Mike, it's Kelly Knapp throwing, leaves Kelly room to make the hit on what is now shot rock. He can roll his shooter out. I don't think he's at any risk of jamming it. He'd have to be real thin for that. And then shot rock is still dead buried behind a center guard, and it's a problem for Aaron Shutra. If he gets a little bit better splash on that, there at the end of the end, if he needed it, there's still that double blue guard. You'd have to hit a little off center, but you can get it coming back towards shot rock. Right now, he doesn't, even if Kelly didn't throw, he doesn't have any great results available off that.
Now, no worry about jamming there. Hits and rolls, and they'll be line 4.
Yeah, a little cute at the end, and somebody tried to call the brushers back on, but they were trying to dance around guards, and they couldn't get back on. Almost rubbed his stone in the top of the forefoot.
That would have been not good.
Well, you could get away with it. I mean, if you just rub it, you're still going to kill the rock behind it, but then you move it out from behind the guard, and Aaron's got more room here. He's got a very tough shot to try to get to the face of that red stone now, and I don't know whether he even can move it, but if you freeze the face of it, that double angle run on the blues is still a potential for the deuce.
So Aaron Shutra trying to freeze on the shot rock with his first and the third.
Could be looking to move it here too. If he gets it behind the tee line, he knows he's going to have a shot to score. It's just real hard to get the deuce if he pops out into the open.
Now,
yeah, I don't know. Well, it's kind of as much as I could say with that too. Kelly's got room to get to the inside of that, I think. Can hit and roll back behind cover, and he kind of takes away the path to the back one. He's going to have more room to draw for sure.
what it really shows you, Shawn, is just how difficult the rolls are to get just right.
Yeah. Well, and if Kelly hits this even on the nose, Aaron's going to be throwing against 5. Now, he'll have a path to get to that back one. He can make the nose hit. It would be good to score, but he's not going to have a lot of room to roll at all, or the one that Kelly's about to hit with here would be shot. And if he ever rolled out, Kelly's still on the outside of this.
It's got a curl. It's going to get up high enough that it's not going to jam. Does leave plenty of room to get in.
Yeah, he's got the room to draw if he wants to now, and the nice thing about the draw, and not just the fact that we've talked about it with Shutra's team, they will lean towards the draw. They're really good at them. It's their strength, but he's not likely giving up 4 or 5 with a draw. He's not apt to miss it by so much that he brings all of these reds back into play. And he does have, this is normal draw to the button path to pick up his single. He's not having to go into a path that he doesn't feel confident in.
So Aaron Shutra, with his final stone on number 3, he needs full 4-foot.
Brushers picked it up pretty early. Still on the outside of that red stone. They're waiting for it to curl. Speed looks close.
Now it starts to come over. Just make sure it's there. Needs the whole 4-foot, and that will get the job done. It'll be a single point for Aaron Shutra. He trails Knapp by 2 after 3 here in Martensville. We'll be back on Curling Stadium.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
So we're back here.
Another guard that's not quite on that center line, and we didn't get back quick enough to see whether it overcurled or undercurled.
It's 4-2.
Aaron desperately needs a chance to steal here. They would have liked to have that center guard. Two things. They want it on the center line, but also you either need it tighter or longer. Like, it's at a depth right now where it's tough to throw the second guard where there's not going to be a chance to double peel them later on. Stephen had a little trouble with his draw weight in the first game. He's having trouble getting the line they're looking for here. And here again on the second, not able to get a piece of that center line.
So do you go after peeling them now, or do you just force the issue? That's still right. They're still guards.
Yeah, you can't really peel them yet. You could play tick shots. That's the thing when you don't get it off the line. But they're at a pretty good angle right now to have a chance to double peel them when you can. So it's a case where, well, we're not going to play the tick because we could tick it to a spot where the double peel is actually harder.
So looking to warp it all the way around the outside. That's going to settle just in front of the tee line, top full floor.
Yeah, probably stop just in time. You bring that too much further back, and the draw tap becomes an option. It's tough now to get both, right? If you try to push this, if you try to throw enough weight to push it behind the tee line, it's real hard to get to the inside of the nose. You probably have to take one or the other here.
All I heard was it's all there.
Yeah, you definitely want one or the other. You don't want to get neither of those. He's got the weight for the tap, but he's not going to get the line.
That's just going to wick and skitter on down to the back of the house. Kelly Knapp keeping it simple and just playing right on top.
Yeah, it's as much as you might want to peel the guards. It's if you peel the guard, you actually help Aaron get a path to get in.
Comes right on in there. Left a little bit of an angle, but not much.
I feel for Aaron. He's standing back there, not sure what to do. Like, the situation in the house is not good. He's looking at playing a run back in, and you're two down without. You really do not want to risk peeling one of your own guards here, but it's hard to deal with the Reds without running it back.
All right, Trevor Woyden looking for the long run back. Needs to be dead nose. Just off of it.
Yeah.
Fortunate not to clip his guard.
Well, fortunate not to clip the guard that's there, but I mean, even to play it the way he did, he essentially just peeled the center guard.
Right. So now it's going to go back. The problem is it's going to be the wrong color.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this either, though. I've never loved playing center guards with last rock. They can, if the Shutra team can ever make something, this rock's in your way, and it doesn't have to be. You're 2 points up. Like,
and they're going to put the finishing touches on this. Aaron has that look again.
Yeah, well, it's how much risk do you want to take on? Like, you could run back the red, and you could maybe move. You know, if you hit it right, you could actually move all 4 reds here.
All right, we're on the way back. Hit the 1 onto 2, and that's what you're going to get. Does help.
Yeah.
So now here's what you're talking about. They have, even with last rock, I guess they have to guard it again. And then if you do that, you're going to leave Aaron could possibly run the other blue in, and now you're sitting nothing in the house.
Yeah. Well, bigger problem than that. At some point in time, you're right. Aaron will run the blue one in. Might not do it just yet. But if you throw a guard up and he runs the blue one in and dead stuffs it, makes the double on the reds.
You just put the guard there for him.
You put the guard there that he's going to be buried behind.
Well, if it curls up a little bit more, it actually gets in the way.
Yeah, it gets in the way, but now it's a nose hit to get all 3 reds. You could come around on the outturn side and come to tap the 2 reds back, try to get one behind the T line. But you do have to stay on the nose if you play that. The nice thing about playing the run now is it's close to a nose hit, where if you don't make it, if you just off the nose a bit, you probably keep your shooter in a spot where you can use it too.
All right. Jason Heather looking for the triple takeout. Got to be right on the nose.
It's real
you
close.
Push it back. 1, and that's all you get. You just didn't catch enough of it.
That's not the end of the world, though. They're not lined up anymore, and he could always come off the red one to get into shot rock, and he's back to having 2 guards, too. Kelly started to look at the come round, and before he even put his broom on the ice, he realized, well, wait a minute, if we come here, that's just giving him a wider target to play the run into.
So you hear them discussing that shot you're worried about and electing to come right to the face of the shot stone.
Yeah, there's no place in front of the house that's a good stone for Kelly Knapp right now.
Just a little bit heavy. You're going to get all the way to it, and now you have a little parade line of red there.
Yep.
So how does Aaron use that?
Well, you could just draw into that pocket. Now, you won't be shot rock. You could be second for now with, again, a rock that you could run in. Probably a couple of them if you had to. Pick one to run into it if you're welded. He could hit the one on the outside, come across, just touch the top of the one that was just thrown and spin up on top of shot rock too. Still only going to be second shot. He's looking at the run. Couple of ways for the run to go good. You could dead stuff it on shot rock and stay covering it with your shooter. You also could kill the shot rock and have the raised stone come and sit on top of well, really either one of those two reds on the side. Now, you'd like to have it sit in front of what would be the shot rock so that you're at least second. You could stay on the inside of it, be shot. There's a few ways for this to go well, but he's probably only killing one red. If you're doubling reds, you're probably leaving a way for Kelly to get it out.
So the southpaw from Saskatoon trying to get himself out of dodge. This is really close. It's going to come on back. Does leave the run stone exposed, though.
Yeah, he overcurled. He needed to be running it almost straight back. He needed to get the rock that was behind the guard, and he overcurled and drove it onto the middle one of the two. He's actually fortunate that he got the red out off the back one. Could have left a third one hanging around back there, and then this hit would be to sit 4.
So Kelly Knapp looking to build another big end here in the 4th.
Yeah, he gets the hit and roll behind, and now with where Aaron rolled on his shooter, the two blues at the top are overlapped. I don't know what he's going to have. You know, he can maybe come off the outside red. It's going to be really flat, and for it to do any good, he's got to get the second red, the one on the button now, all the way out of the house. Not just kick it over, because his shooter's going to stay in the open. He's going to have a hard time not giving up 3 here.
So here's Kelly Knapp. Trying to get the curl at the end.
Well, he left him a little bit of room to get out of jail here. Aaron's first thought is the triple, which is maybe just there. Now, the triple is very thin on the one that was just thrown, over the top of the one on the button, and then have the shooter come into the third one. There's 2 possible doubles there. The flat one's still there. He can get to the nose to make the double on the reds in the 4-foot as well. I'm not seeing any shot. Unless he plays the thin triple, but you're risking not hitting anything. It's so thin on the first one. Other than that, I don't see any way where he's not giving up 2 here. Might be able to, with some weight, play the double on the 2 reds and that roll in front of the other one that he's talking about right now. I think you'd have to throw some weight to do that, because you've got to hit the first red one very thick. You know, you hit half a rock on that first one, it's dead jamming. 3/4, it's jamming, and, you know, with normal weight, it's probably not leaving the house. So he's trying to hit 7/8 with some weight, make the double, and roll over.
Aaron Shutra with his final stone of the 4th end. Might have to go to plan B right now.
Yeah, I think they made too late of a decision to go for plan B. He jammed the first one. I heard them call straight, and then there was something else, and I think it was something to the effect of that it was too late, or they got caught in between.
So now it's a free draw for Kelly Knapp for 3 to blow this game wide open.
It was a tough spot to be in to need a plan B, because plan A and plan B weren't that close together. You're trying to hit 7/8, and the plan B was probably 1/4 of a rock. Like, that's a lot of difference.
Kelly Knapp from Regina needs a bit of the house for 3 to give his team a 7-2 lead. got the backing, got the line, got the points. That'll be 3 for them, and through 4 ends, it's 7-2 for Knapp.
And 4 ends is all we're going to play.
And with that, congratulations to Kelly Knapp for winning the SaskTel Curling Stadium Martensville SaskTour Spiel in 4 ends by a final score of 7-2. Shawn, your thoughts?
Well, it was just the Knapp team didn't miss much, and the Shutra team had some struggles. We had a chance to do their game this afternoon, and they had some weight struggles, but really it was more line for them here today, and they couldn't get any good angles set up. The Knapp team had them all, and some days they go like that. Of course, you get down here as they're playing the 4th end, you start gambling. It can go off the rails in a hurry.
Well, that's all we have for here. Be sure to tune in to Curling Stadium. We have mixed doubles from Vernon still going on, and with the finals tomorrow, plan to watch some of them. You can join us for those broadcasts. But for right now, from Martensville, I'm Dave Schmel, along with Shawn, Joyce, and Ryan Jacques, our engineer. We thank you very much for joining us, and have a pleasant day.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.